Good afternoon, everybody. Wish I was sitting down here, having had a victory last week. Any time in the last 2 weeks would have been nice. But our guys have been battling and playing hard, and unfortunately, we haven't made enough plays. The other team has, and we find ourselves here 0-2, so desperate for a win. And we're going to be trying as hard as we can this week to prepare and get ready for Villanova, who's got a great team. They're number 6 in the country, and we just tremendously well coached. I coached the FCS level for a long time, and there's not a difference between those FCS teams that play at the top of that division and teams like us in the Group of Five. I mean, very, very similar in terms of just the talent and the firepower, and I'd argue that many of those FCS teams are more talented than even some of the Group of Five teams, and especially now with opportunities for guys to be able to go immediately and go in the transfer portal and grad transfers and those kinds of things. And there's some great football teams at that level. They're one of them. To be ranked in the top 10 is pretty special. So we know that it's going to be a great challenge for us, and we're going to prepare and do the very best we can to have our team better prepared than we have the last 2 weeks. So looking forward to Saturday and just an opportunity to try to get a victory.
Jeff Rich DeMarco, Army Radio Network. Is it frustrating the past couple of weeks being in close games and coming up short? How would you assess how you feel looking at the scores and looking at the tape?
Sure, it's frustrating just to be that close and to feel like there's things that maybe we could have controlled better. We made some really foolish mistakes on Saturday, and that's where you just feel the most angst is. And it's my job. It's my job to have our guys prepared and for our guys to not make the mental errors or the fundamental errors. But it's the same in every game. I read what Nick Saban said about their game over Texas. They beat Texas by a point. They kick a field goal late in the game, and he talked about fundamentals. He talked about assignment and fundamentals, and that being the difference in playing the best they can and things they need to improve. Sound like a broken record from what I said to our team, and I imagine that every coach in the country preaches the same thing. But there are fundamental errors that we made that we can control better. Our coaches in coaching those things, our players in being fanatical about playing with great fundamentals, and when we do that, then I think we'll get better results. That doesn't ensure victory, and it'll take a great effort, and it's going to be a tremendous challenge to beat Villanova. They're a good football team, and I mean this season alone, in the first 2 weeks of college football, we're going into week 3 here, and I think there's been 5 FCS teams that have beaten FBS teams, and I think there's another 7 games that have been a one-score game. And so, I mean, they're no different to us than preparing for UTSA or Coastal Carolina. It's a good team, and we know we're going to have to get ourselves ready.
And just your assessment of your offense and the big plays. People are going to look at that, and Army's leading the nation in passing efficiency, and that's tremendous. There have been some big plays. Is that how you would want the offense to be, or is there more of a balance with the running game? How do you feel when you see those statistics and where your offense has been the first 2 weeks?
Frankly, I want to lead the nation in winning percentage, so whatever that takes. And typically our formula isn't big plays and throwing the ball. It's controlling the clock and sustaining drives. And big plays are great. If you score a touchdown, it counts the same whether you do it in 2 plays or 22 plays. What 22 plays does is keep the other team from having a chance to go out there and get a touchdown. It takes scoring opportunities away from them. Where you have short drives, and you score a touchdown, it's a positive. But when you have short drives like a 3 and out, which we did in the second half, and another drive where we had a first down on the first play and then went 3 and out, so we had essentially a 4 and out. Those are short drives. That gives the opponent an opportunity to go back out there and get a touchdown or get a field goal. That's where sometimes the big plays are they're great, but you got to score on those drives. And we were able to. We were able to score on a lot of those drives, and we hit some big plays. And it's because we run the ball effectively, or maybe it's perceived that we run the ball effectively because we haven't run the balls effectively the first 2 weeks as we'd like. Certainly not up to our standard, but it did create some opportunities in each of the last 2 weeks for some big plays. But we've got to, in between that, sustain the drive and be able to run the ball and turn the sticks, and that's who we are. That's our identity and how we play good team football with our run game.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, Joe.
Good afternoon, Coach Monken. Joe Iacono with GoBlackKnights.com. In the first 2 games, I know you mentioned that defensively, specifically, there were a number of missed assignments and tackles, along with what appeared to be soft coverage on underneath throws and getting beat at the point of attack against the run. I know these aren't going to be overnight fixes, but what do you attribute these current problems to, and what can be done to correct them?
The personnel that we've faced has been pretty good. We haven't lined up against the elite Power 5 teams this year yet, but these are 2 elite Group of 5 teams. And so UTSA, we just played, started out 10-0 last year. They won 12 football games. Grayson McCall and that crowd on offense at Coastal Carolina is as good as anybody in the country. I think they were one of the top teams, maybe the top team in efficiency in terms of points per possession a year ago. They're both really good football teams with very talented players, and so that makes it a challenge for sure. I'd like for us to tackle better. Some of it is poor fundamentals, and some is they just were better in space than we were. The guy we were trying to tackle was better in space than the guy trying to tackle him. That's no knock on our guy. Or our guys. It happens. So we got to do better with those fundamentals. The soft coverage underneath. We didn't have soft coverage underneath when they threw the ball over our head on 3rd and 20. We were trying to take the ball away at the sticks so that we could force a no field goal, no points, make them pooch punt to us, and they threw it over our head for a touchdown. So you've got to balance when you bring pressure and play man-to-man, and when you stay back and try to keep the ball in front of you. And we're a defense that's built on our guys not missing assignments, rallying to the ball with leverage. I don't know that we're going to become elite open field tacklers against great athletes. It doesn't mean we don't have talented guys. We got some talented guys on our team for sure, but we've got to do the fundamental things that will help us play better defense collectively, and hopefully we'll start to do that. Coach Woody's a great defensive coordinator. He doesn't need my endorsement for that. He just what he's done here and what he's done in his career. He has a great plan. I think our guys are playing really hard. They're playing physical. There's just obviously some missed tackles in there, more this week than there was the week before, and that's gotta change if we're going to play good defense, and then being able to maybe bend sometimes and not break. We're not going to lead the nation in 3 and outs. We're going to have to give something up, and so it's just picking and choosing. It's not always we're going to give up the underneath pass, and it's not always going to give up the run. But there were times we were dropping 8 guys into coverage on Saturday, and other times we were bringing 6 guys. So it'll improve. I'm confident it will. We got guys that care, and they're playing really hard. We got good coaches, and we'll work together and get it improved.
And my follow-up and final question, Coach. In the first 2 games, the defense has played over 150 snaps, which is a lot. I know that you attribute a lot of your success on defense over the course of your tenure to minimizing the number of snaps the defense has had to play. Is that kind of a chicken or the egg thing where they're playing a ton of snaps because they can't get off the field on third down a lot of the times, or because of the quick scoring strikes on offense, or is it a combination of the two?
It's probably a combination. I'd like to get the other team in third down a little more often. Coach Woody and I talked about that this morning. We aren't forcing them into third down situations all the time, and when we are, they're having a lot more success than they need to. Saturday, I think they were 11 of 15 on third down. It's hard to win a football game if you can't get the other team off the field on third down. Third down statistic is big in terms of winning and losing football games, as is the turnover margin, which we've been the loser on the turnover margin each game this year. So 0-1 in the game against Coastal Carolina, and 0-2 against UTSA. So that certainly plays into it. Like I said, if we score quick, it still counts as 7 points. But that puts the defense right back out there against a team that's going turbo fast. I mean, they were the chains weren't on the turf at the new spot when they were taking the next snap. And the offense is permitted to go as fast as they want. As long as the officials are in position and the ball is spotted, they can go as fast as they want on a play where they don't substitute. So to keep up with that pace is a challenge. And we go out there and score in 2 plays. The defense got to go running right back out there, and they got the Indianapolis 500 pit crew team running offensive plays against us. So that there's a balance there, and our formula, as you've watched us, has been to run the ball and sustain the clock, sustain drives, and bleed the clock, and give our opponents fewer plays and fewer opportunities. And we've played the fewest number of defensive snaps in college football by the hundreds in my tenure here over the course of the 8 years up to this year. So we don't want to play that many plays, but it's just the way it's gone. And with that said, we still gave ourselves a chance at the end of the game on Saturday. Just didn't get it done. They beat us.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Joe.
Go ahead, Ken. Record. You've coached teams that have gotten off the 2-0 starts and 1-1 starts. Is there a special challenge to get this team out of a 0-2 hole?
No, play better. There's no special. There's no special thing we got to do, just other than play better, block better, tackle better, take care of the ball better, play better special teams. All of it. Just play better, coach better. I got to coach better. I got to get our assistant coaches to coach better, teach better, prepare our guys. It rests solely on me and our coaches with missed assignments and fundamentals. It's our responsibility to get them to play their assignments correctly, to use the fundamentals that we're trying to teach them, and so we started that on Sunday. We'll continue that today and through this week, and hopefully there'll be an improvement.
Sal, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Hey, Sal.
Hey, just a question on who might be out there to start offense as quarterback this week. Is it a defensive scheme feel, or are you comfortable with Tyre as a starter and Cade kind of coming off the bench, so to speak?
We're comfortable with that, and I think it worked well on Saturday. Tyre has more experience than Cade, and so sometimes to start the game, we have no idea what we're going to see, and a guy with experience, he handles that pretty good, and then we get settled into a groove. And we played the first game and played 47 snaps, which isn't enough. I think TT played 38 of them, and Cade played 9, and then Saturday we had, I don't know, 70-some, 80-some plays. I don't know how many plays we were in there, but Cade played the larger majority of those. So it just kind of went that way in the game. They're both really good quarterbacks. They both can make plays on their feet with their arm. I mean, I think that they both showed that on Saturday. So we're comfortable just the way it is. And they both want to start, but I assure you that there's no animosity. They're trying to help each other perform the best that the other can. And they're sharing information on Saturday. They're sharing information throughout the week. They're helping coach each other during the week. But that's our team. That's what our team does. They care more about winning than they care about who gets the first play or the last play or how many in between. I mean, maybe quietly some of them, would be disgruntled if it was man to man, but they certainly don't do that in front of us. And I think that just creates an environment, an atmosphere where our guys can really be free to compete and push, and when they've got the guy that's their biggest competition at their position being their biggest cheerleader, that helps, and that's what those guys are for each other.
Just one more on the defensive side, shuffling on the front seven. Would you like to come up with a solid, defensive line and linebackers, or are you okay with the shuffle and trying to find what's working the best?
So, as I mentioned, they were going really, really fast, and one way to slow the other team down is that when they substitute, we're entitled to substitute. So rather than letting them run a guy off of the sideline, and as soon as he gets set, they snap the ball and they go, we get a chance to give our guys a 15-second rest and get a different guy in there and roll them in. I mean, it would be foolish on our part not to do that if that's within the rules, and it is within the rules. So part of the rotation is just the fact that when they substitute, we're going to substitute to try to keep them from going at that Daytona 500 speed, and so there's certainly guys that we want to have in the game at certain times and in certain positions, and we try to keep those guys there. But eventually, when your tongue's dragging from playing at that pace, and it's hard when you're on defense and you're pursuing the ball. Our guys could play lazy, and when the ball goes in the air, they just turn their head and watch the ball sail through the air. And if the guy catches it, they cross their fingers and hope the guys closest to him will bring him down or knock him out of bounds, and then they can kind of just trot down there to the next spot where the ball is, like the offensive lineman. The other team throws the ball, and their offensive linemen are putting their foot in the ground and sprinting 40 yards to where the ball is. But that's what our defensive players do, and so they get tired a lot faster. And it's the other thing is when guys get fatigued and tired like that, they become way more susceptible to injury. So we don't want our guys to get hurt, and so part of that is keeping them fresh and keeping them gassed up so that they don't get injured out there when they're just exhausted, tired. That's when they pull muscles and just all the other things that can happen they become more susceptible through being fatigued and dehydrated and all those things.
Do one more for the job. If we're not getting his audio feed and he's trying to go.
Gonna be it, guys.
Okay, thanks. Have a good day, everybody.